Tony Randle, in our letter from Wellington, joins us now. Do you shudder every time I mention Otago University, or do you still have fond and nostalgic memories of waking up in a gutter somewhere with after far too much to drink, Tony?
Well, both is true actually. I have some great memories.
Honest answer.
Yes, yes. I think my low point was when I went to a party and I was picked up by my girlfriend wearing a sock, and so
One
that was
sock
yeah, one sock. The
and nothing else.
But look,
And she picked you up.
in the street,
Okay.
but
There you go, you see.
still a day. But yeah, Otago. Look, I've met people who come from Otago, and from a student perspective, it's still a pretty good place. I still think it's got the best campus of any university because it's in a city, but it's not lost in the city. But in terms of its academic approach to things, yeah, disappointing. And yeah, it's not. Yeah, I'm not proud of it. I'm sorry.
No, neither am I. And I'm meant to. I'm listed as one of their distinguished alumni. God, I wish they'd remove that. All right, now let's move on. Can I just say, first of all, Tony, since we last chatted last Tuesday, Andrew Little has announced that he's going to stand. I think he was interviewed on Sean's show on Friday. Um, you were quite, I think, what's the word? You were quite complimentary of the fact that he was going to stand, and you thought he wouldn't be a bad choice or option. You've got Ray Chung, who I think is going to be more the centre-right choice. And I was having this discussion over the weekend with somebody, Tony, and I wonder about your thoughts on this. And I said, I can't see him losing under the STV system because he'll be the second choice of people who vote for the Conservative candidate, Ray Chung. And he'll probably be the second choice of people who vote for the Greens candidate, Tory Whanau. So if either one of them drops out, and one of them presumably will, then he will be their second choice and sweep in as mayor. Is that your likely scenario, do you think?
Yeah, I think it is, and it's a bit disappointing because his words so far, look, in its early days, but his words so far, he seems to be positioning himself to the right of Tory, but still to the left of the city. Yeah, and he's to be perfectly honest, he sounds a bit like what Paul Eagle sounded like when Paul Eagle first ran. You know that we need to review some things, that we need to cut the rates, but really he hasn't said what he's going to stop doing that the city's doing at the moment. He's talked about postponing the Golden Mile, but he's also said we need cycleways. And for me, those are a bit red flaggish in terms of that the city under him may be a more moderate version of the current direction, but still not changing. Still not making some hard calls on what to spend.
It is a left city, though, so at the end of the day, he's got to appeal to the base. And the Greens will still be strong no matter the pratfalls of the current mayor. Are you expecting a decent contest, or do you think it's all over bar the shouting?
Oh no, no, it's never over because people thought it was a bit all over by the shouting with Paul Eagle in a way. Well, no, that was a bit closer. He was always a bit. I mean, in a sense, Paul's problem was that he was more pragmatic and more obviously wanting to reach out to the independent councillors, city-focused councillors, and because he did that, the Labor voters seemed to say, well, he's not a Labor voter man, and they wanted to vote along party lines, so they drifted off. And to be perfectly honest, from what I understand, he never really got the full support of the Labor Party, whereas I think Andrew Little will, but he will do it by putting forward the Labor Party line and the Labor Party agenda. And so we'll go back to a Justin Lester type mayor, but still not change direction.
I was interested in your piece that you sent just prior to our conversation today, in which you highlighted an article in Spinoff, or on Spinoff, which is the left-wing online news magazine type feature that you can subscribe to. And it's written by a chap called Joel McManus, who actually I sued, I don't know, actually quite successfully for defamation.
Wow.
when he was editor of the Critic magazine in Dunedin. But anyhow, it's headlined "Windbag: Andrew Little reshapes the Wellington Mayoral contest," and it seems from that article, just in reading, that Spinoff still think that Tory whānau is not just a good choice, but the choice. Have I got that wrong?
No, you're right. Yeah, interesting. Another alumni from Otago,
Yes, that's
Joel
right.
McManus.
Yeah,
But the look, Joel is very clear where he stands. He's a good writer, but he's certainly also a very strong. I'm not sure if he's a Green Party member, but he's certainly very on the city's on the right track under Tory whānau approach to things. And his article on the spin-off is quite interesting to see where the perspective is from my position from the other side. And yeah, he sort of thinks that Andrew will. He thinks the city's on the right track, which is, and looking from the outside, you wonder why that people would say that. But within the city, we've got a large number of people who think that we need cycleways. That's the most important thing. There's a lot of people who are very worried about climate change. And the fact that the city council's activities make almost no difference to climate change is not really the thing they think is important. We've got about 30 people in the climate change team at the council.
that's
I've no idea what they do.
Yeah,
But they wouldn't want those people to stop doing what they're doing. And that's the sort of dilemma we have. And I guess I'm a bit worried that I'll be continuing after October, continuing letter from Wellington from the outside, pointing out what the next thing the city's doing.
You'll be continue to be the loyal opposition. And on that, can I just say that one of your council compatriots, Rebecca Matthews, who I've never heard of before, and unlikely ever after mention her name again after this conversation, but she's the Onslow Western Ward Councillor. So where's Onslow Western? What suburbs is that, Tony?
It's Karori, the biggest suburb in New Zealand,
right.
is Onslow Western, but it goes right through Wilton, Wadestown, Nio, up to as far as Kandala and Broadmeadows.
Oh, so it's all the Liberal lefties.
Well, it's actually quite. It's the upmarket Liberal lefties, and
Yes,
it includes places, like Kelburn, where the university is.
Yeah. Anyhow, she got elected. So there you are. She put herself up. She got elected. She was a member of the Labour Party, but she's now defected from Labour to the Greens, which is an interesting way to move. Why is that?
Yeah, well, she got elected when Andy Foster became mayor. So she came fourth in the Western Ward, but because Andy got to be mayor, she got in.
Oh, I see.
And so there's that background. She's been a Labour candidate under the Labour ticket for the last 2 terms. But I think her loyal following of Tory whānau's agenda, including the Reading deal and the airport and cycleways and a lot of other things, have put her offside with the Labour Party, who in particular were totally opposed to selling the airport. And I understand she didn't even put in a nomination, which is why they've actually got a Labour candidate and a Green candidate in that ward. And Rebecca Matthews is going to be the Green candidate. So
the Labour candidate is going to be Jacinda Ardern's former press secretary, a woman by the name of Joy Gribben. That'll be a fascinating scrap.
Well, I think it will be, but it's also a testimony to how much the parliamentary area supplies the candidates for the local body. They come out of the parliament. Tory chief of staff of the Green Party. There's just and now we've got Andrew Little. They're all coming. People who run the city. Half of them seem to come to be ex-employees or elected members in Parliament, and whereas most of the city has nothing to do with Parliament. If you're working in a government department, that's not really a parliamentary thing.
I see that her now current role is listed. She is the manager and principal advisor in climate resilience at Victoria University. Man, that's about as green as you could get for a Labour candidate, I would have thought.